What is your name, please?
My name is Adrian Catarzi.
My name is Adrian Catarzi.
My name is Adrian Catarzi.
Only one of these people is the real Adrian Catarzi. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Phyllis Newman, Robert Hugh Lewis, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this week by Dristan Decongestant Tablets. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Always nice to know I'm going to spend a while with you. Incidentally, Robert Q is leaving tomorrow for Hollywood, I think. Start work on a movie. Good Neighbor Sam will be watching for it, Bob.
Jack Lemmon picture.
Best of good luck. All right. Please open your envelopes, if you will, please, panel, and follow along with me as I read. I, Adrian Catarzi, am a liberal arts major at Florida State University. By maintaining a good average in my regular subjects, I am privileged to take a rather unusual course, circus. Florida State is the only university in the country with a large-scale student circus complete with its own big top. In the circus, I am part of a juggling act, but I get my real fun out of working out on the flying trapeze. After hundreds of unsuccessful attempts, I finally performed a feat which has been accomplished by only 12 other people in the past 100 years. I became the first amateur and probably the youngest person, man or woman, to perform the triple somersault in midair. Signed, Adrian Catarzi. Panel, these three persons all claim to be Adrian Catarzi, college circus star. We start the questioning with Phyllis Newman. Phyllis?
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, could you tell me the technical name for those long things you have on your legs? I'm sorry.
The one I usually wear is circus tights, but I don't know where they dug these up.
Good. Number 1, do you know the name of those tights that are thin and that dancers and circus performers use? Did you have on?
Dan skin or...
Thank you.
Like that.
Number 2, where is Florida State University?
It's in Tallahassee.
Number 2, this curriculum of circus, does that count toward your degree?
Well, you can only take it for a half a credit one semester, and then after that it's just an extracurricular activity.
I see. Thank you.
Robert Q.
Number 3, do you agree that Florida State University is in Tallahassee?
Yes, sir, I do.
Number 1, not too long ago, as I recall, and I'm delighted to say that I don't remember Mr. or Miss Catarzi, was there not a television program which featured your university?
Yes, there was.
Number 2, on what network was that?
It was on CBS.
Number 3, were you part of that program?
Yes, sir, I was.
Number 1, what is the most famous circus trapeze act at this point? Let us say, put it this way, in history, in contemporary history.
The most famous trapeze act are probably the Flying Cancellos.
Number 2, have there been any unfortunate incidents with the Flying Cancellos recently?
No, there haven't.
Number 3, when you...
Kitty.
Number 3, what else do you take in school except circus?
The circus just counts 1 credit. I take a liberal arts course.
Number 2, do you know what those things are called that you're wearing? Are they dug up from someplace else, or are those your own?
Well, they're leotards.
Leotard. Number 1, is this triple somersault that you do ever performed by women?
Yes.
Number 2, can you tell me who Lillian Lightfield was?
Yes, she worked on the Roman rings.
Thank you. Number 3, who are the Wallenders?
They're a very famous team that works on the high wire. Very famous for many reasons.
Tom.
Gee, these really, they're fantastic. I will ask one, I know what technical thing that maybe I can find out something. Number 1, do you know what spotting is if you're on a high board, for instance?
Spotting?
Yeah.
Standing there in case the person falls to catch them.
Well, that, okay. How about this, number 2? There was a family of trampoline experts that was working out there in Sarasota, not in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that family? Trampoline performers.
No, I don't.
Do you know number 3?
No, sir, I don't.
Number 1, have you heard of this family?
Sorry to say that's all the time we have. It's time for you now to mark your ballot, so please do so at once, without change and no consultation, as you vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will, of course, be awarded $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked, panel?
No, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
All right.
All right. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. I don't think he's the one, but I liked him.
Phyllis.
Well, I voted for number 1 also. Number 3 looks so right with his big muscles, and number 2 with the dress. 1 is a little puny, excuse me, but I bet he's the one.
Nice and puny.
Robert Q.
I don't know. I voted for number 2. I just like her.
And Kitty, what is your choice?
I voted for number 2. I like the way she got off the trapeze, and I think a woman could do such a thing, and so I voted for number 2.
Well, that's even Steven then, huh? 2 for 1, 2 for 2, and with that we move into the charmed circle, as we like to call it sometimes, when we learn which one of these persons actually is the college circus star. So, will the real Adrian Catarzi please stand up? Says to be happy to meet you later and show you how puny he is.
That's better than he is.
Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Brooke Wayne, and I'm an editorial assistant at Time magazine.
Number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Raymond Chase. I'm a Lance Corporal in the United States Marine Corps. I'm stationed at Floyd Bennett Field as a parachute rigger.
Now, we have a treat for you because we're fortunate in having a slow-motion film of Adrian actually performing the triple somersault. Want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch your minors. Just watch. One, two, three. There it is. Oh, that's great. Just great. Yes.
No wonder the poor man is skinny. Wow.
Cheers a lot of them every week. Well, it's been a great joy having you with us. I hope you've had the fun that you brought to us. And, of course, you know the score with 2 incorrect votes. That at $250 each. Watch your eyes brighten now. That's $500 coming your way from Dristan and a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Dristan. Thank you very much. Goodbye, and God bless you. Now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Buddy Bond.
My name is Buddy Bond.
My name is Buddy Bond.
And will you follow along, please, with your copies as I read from mine on this one? I, Buddy Bond, am a folk singer. 2 years ago, I packed my rucksack, threw my guitar over my shoulder, and embarked on a trip around the world. I sang my songs for such personages as the Maharaja of Sanpur, Pablo Picasso, and King Bhumipol of Thailand, who played his saxophone while I strummed my guitar. Faithful to the traditions of the wandering minstrels, I never used any money to pay for food, lodging, or transportation. Except for a flight from the United States to England, I sang for my breakfast, lunch, and supper through 45 countries on 5 continents. Signed, Buddy Bond. And these 3 gentlemen all claim to be Buddy Bond, 20th century wandering minstrel. Let's start this cross-examination with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, do you read music?
No.
You don't. Number 3, can you tell me where Picasso lived?
No, I can't. I saw him in Aix-en-Provence.
Ah, number one, did you see Picasso in Aix-en-Provence?
Yes, I did.
Number one, can you tell me the name of Queen of Thailand, Bhumi Ball's wife?
Sitakat. Sitakat. I never could have pronounced it. I probably
Number
did it
two,
wrong.
how did you travel?
I hitchhiked mostly and sang for my supper, lodging, and transportation.
Number three, how did you manage to meet all these people?
Tom Poston introduced him. Tom?
Thank you. Number three, do you know Lightnin' Hawkins?
I know the name. I believe he's a jazz guitarist.
Thank you. Do you know him, number two? Yes, sir.
It's Lightnin' Hopkins.
Hopkins, thank you. Number... I happen to know it's Lightnin' Hopkins. Thank you, number three. Number two, who makes the best guitar in France?
Possibly Jake's Camerat.
Thank you. Number one, who do you think makes the best guitar in France?
I don't know about French guitars.
Thank you.
Phyllis.
Thank you. Number one, is Buddy Bone your real name? I mean if you're not lying. It's
Buddy
your
Bond.
name. Buddy Bond.
Yes, it is.
I see. Number three, where did you learn how to play the guitar?
I learned it in school. I had an uncle that played the guitar, and I took a course in school with him.
Thank you. Number three, on sheet music, there are notations where
I don't
guitar...
read sheet music. I don't read music
I didn't
at
think
all.
you did. I'm just... Number one, who's Bob Dylan?
Oh, he's a famous composer of folk songs.
Number two, there's a very popular folk song now that has to do with the wind. Can you tell me the title of that?
It's in the wind.
Number three, do you agree with that?
No, I don't. It's
What-
Blowing in the Wind.
And who has the big record of that, number three?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Thank you.
Robert Q.
I've been expecting all along one of them would say, I'd like to answer that question, but first let me sing a little song. Number one, what kind of folk tunes did you do in Europe?
Well, it depended on...
Were they English, American, European?
American mostly, but it depended on who I was singing to and what language they understood, although sometimes that didn't make any difference.
Number two, how did you manage to get to Europe from America? Was there some foundation that helped you? Or?
Well, as it says in the affidavit, that was the only place where I paid for the transportation.
Number three, was there anybody who helped you on this kind of expedition?
Yeah, various people that I sang for.
Number one, you...
That's all the time we have. So, again as before, will you use the rest of the few seconds remaining to mark your ballots? At once, in other words, without change. No consultation permitted as usual, as you vote now for number one, number two, or number three. All ballots marked?
Now they are.
Everybody, all right. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I think I voted for number one. I won't be definite until after they reveal themselves.
Phyllis, what is your choice?
Well, I think it's number one also, but number three got me by correcting Tom, so I voted for number three, but I think it's number one.
Robert Q?
Well, I'm always wrong. You see, I was sure it was number three. And my next choice is number one. So I voted for number two.
Going down the middle.
Knowing you.
And Kitty?
I voted for number two because number three knew marvelous answers. Number one looks like a folk singer, but number one's voice had a very resonant quality.
Number one's voice.
Number two's.
Oh,
That's who I voted for.
All right. You see how clearly the reasons are given? That's why it's always so lucid when we get to this point. Sneaking up in the circle of truth, we find out now which one of these gentlemen actually is the 20th century wandering minstrel. Will the real Buddy Bond please come out here and sing for us?
I'm going to sing you a song about a seedy, bewhiskered character who helped build America. His name was Dan Tucker. Hey, get out of the way for old Dan Tucker. Too late to get his supper. Supper's over, dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker just stand there looking. I I went to town the other night to hear a noise and see a fight. All the people they's jumping around, so the old Nantuckers have come to town. Hey, get out of the way for old Nantucker. Too late to get his supper. Supper's over, dinner's cooking. Old Nantucker just stand there looking. Old Nantucker's a fine old man who washed his face in a frying pan, combed his hair with a wagon wheel, died of a toothpick in his heel. Hey, get out of the way for old Nantucker. Too late to get his supper. Supper's over, dinner's cooking. Old Nantucker just stand there looking.
Thank you very much, buddy. From that sample, we know you never went hungry, no matter where you went.
Thank you.
Number one, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name's William Blood, and I'm the originator of the Rainbow Theater, a theater on wheels.
And number three, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is John Reynolds, and I design, import, and sell Japanese umbrellas.
Gentlemen, if you had as much fun as we did, then your evening was well worthwhile, plus the fact it's even more worthwhile when you realize that there were two incorrect votes at $250 each. That's a nice fat total of $500 from Dristan. And, of course, on your way out, a gift package of the fine products from the makers of Dristan. Thank you for being with us. Hope you had fun. Goodbye, and God bless you. Panel, if I can have your attention, please. Before we meet our next team of challengers, I have some information for you. Every program of To Tell the Truth for the past, 2 years and more, 3 men have sat out in the back of our studio audience here watching the proceedings. They are our standby team of challengers. Now, if ever something should happen to prevent our using our scheduled team of challengers, they were ready to step in at a moment's notice and substitute and be the team. You are going to meet one of those gentlemen right now.
What is your name, please?
My name is Harold Ray.
My name is Harold Ray.
My name is Harold Ray.
Now, panel, please follow along as I read, if you will. I, Harold Ray, am part of a very unusual team. 2 other gentlemen and I have attended every program of To Tell the Truth since December of 1960, about 120 shows. I am a member of a standby team of challengers. My team stands ready in case any unforeseen emergency forces a cancellation of one of the scheduled spots. If that should happen, my teammates and I would step into the breach and face the panel's questions. Naturally, our team consists of 1 real person and 2 imposters. I am one of the imposters. Someday in the future, my team may finally face the panel on the program, and because of this, I cannot show my face. Incidentally, before the panel starts questioning, I must warn them that there is one question I am forbidden to answer. Signed, Harold Ray. Very well, panel. These 3 gentlemen all claim to be Harold Ray, imposter on our standby team of challengers. We'll start this round with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Tell me, number 2, you don't have anything to do with this panel, do you? You're going to be what you are now, I guess. Number 2, is that right?
I don't understand you.
Me either. Number 3, I presume that the question you're not allowed to answer is what your category is when you're working, is that right?
That is correct, sir.
Why don't you want to tell us?
I just can't. That's the one question I can't.
How come you all look so much alike?
Phyllis.
Number 1, can we ask you what the person's name is who would be the... No, that's another question.
Well,
so that makes
I
2
could
questions.
tell you, but I would have to whisper.
You'd have to whisper. I'm curious. No, he'd have to whisper. He's never mean. Number 2, do you get paid every week?
Yeah?
You do? Number 3, do you get paid every week?
I do.
How much do you get paid? Are you allowed to tell?
I can't say.
I see.
That's 2 questions.
I'm going to find out a dozen. Number 1, do you know Polly Bergen's husband's name?
Not her husband's name.
Oh, I thought you just might hang around the show.
Robert Q.
Well, I don't know. I've heard of the man in the gray flannel suit. Here are the men in the gray flannel faces. Number 3 has To Tell the Truth Always, in these past 2 years, been broadcast from this theater.
Was at the Mansfield Theater when I started working.
Okay, number 1, what is the name of the director of this program?
Paul Alter.
What does he do, number 1? Number two, who is the producer of this program?
Mr. Fritz.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Fritz.
Mr. Fritz, yes. Number 3, who is Bruno Zerato Jr. and what capacity would you put him in? Why? What does he do for To Tell the Truth?
He's the associate producer.
Uh-huh. Number 1.
Kitty.
Number 3, you've been watching this show for a great many performances. How do you like it?
I like it a great deal, sometimes.
Number 1, how does it feel to finally, after all this time, be sitting in that spot? Number 1.
Well, it's very exciting.
You like it?
Very exciting.
You'd like to be doing it more.
And that's all the time we have, but I hope you've had fun with this one up to this point, because now I'm going to ask you to vote, if you will, please. Mark your ballots right now for the one you think is the real one, of course. And without consultation, vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Have we all marked? Quickly? Hey, that's real good. Tom, for whom?
I voted for number 3, Bud. And I've been asked not to make any more remarks. They told me that only 2 of the fellas had on those masks.
Who told you that, Mr. Freed?
No.
Phyllis.
Well, I voted for number 3 because I could tell by his eyes he wasn't lying.
Robert Q.
I was going to say his expression gave him away, but while number 2 did pronounce our producer's name perfectly well, I still think it's number 3.
Kitty, what is your choice?
Well, I voted for number 3.
Oh.
I have the feeling that when they take off their masks, we're going to know all 3 of them. And number 3 knew more about the show than anybody else, so in all justice, I had to vote for him.
Well, that's a rare thing.
Not Henry Morgan again. Die.
You have, in quite a while, you haven't voted unanimity this way on the nighttime show. Let's see what we do with this one. And go into the charm circle and learn now which one of these gentlemen actually is the real imposter on our standby team of challengers. So will the real Harold Ray please stand up? Oh, boy. And now, number 2, who are you?
Well, I'm William Blood, and I'm still the designer of the Rainbow Theater.
Hey, those guys were a great life.
And that's still John Reynolds, of course. They were both in the last spot.
Good.
Would they
Really?
sing for us?
I told you only 2 of them had masks on.
Oh, boy, well, that was a great job of fooling, believe me. That was fun, and I hope you had as much of a kick out of it as we did. I don't have to tell you, it was unanimous. That means there were 4 incorrect, and that's $1,000 coming your way from Dristan, as well as a gift package of the fine products of the makers of Dristan. Thanks so much for helping us in our little fun to see. Good night, and God bless you. Okay, panel, rest easy now. Let's look at this brief. Before we say goodnight, we have one more surprise for you.
No.
Harold Ray has joined his 2 real teammates, and we'd like you to meet the entire team of standby challengers that you may meet someday. You got the whole future laid out for you. It'll be a cinch when you finally come down to it, provided Mr. Freets, our producer, doesn't change the way in which it's produced. Tom, thank you. Phyllis, thank you. Robert Q., thank you. And Kitty, thank you. You're just sensational people to work with, and thanks for the fun. Good night to you. Good night to all of you. See you again next week, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon in the daytime panel. In the meantime, I say good night to you from Tristan and remind you once again to tell the truth. Good night.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Miss Newman's gown by Bill Smith. Has been brought to you by new Easy Off window spray. Now with ammonia. Keeps your windows sunshine clean. New Easy Off window spray with ammonia. Johnny Olson speaking. For To Tell the Truth, this program was pre-recorded.